I'm trying to bring. Okay, there you
Well,
go.
hey, what's going on, Chad? This is the first time I
Hey,
tried it. You doing okay?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Doing
You do,
fine.
you doing
Yeah.
good?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. How about you?
What you say?
I said, how about you?
Oh, I'm doing peaceful. I'm doing good. I'm so glad to have you on. I appreciate you for coming on.
No problem. Appreciate you letting me come on.
So, I kind of want to stall a little bit, give people a little time to join in, but
That's cool.
I will ask a couple of questions right now.
Okay.
So where are you from?
I'm from a little small town called Raleigh, Mississippi.
Raleigh, Mississippi.
Yes, ma'am. Can you
Okay.
hear me good?
So that's where you're from. Is that where you still reside?
No, I'm actually in Brandon, Mississippi now.
Okay.
Uh,
Did I interrupt you? Because it sounded like you were going to say something else.
no, can you hear me fine?
I can hear
Good.
you. I
Okay.
can hear
'Cause
you.
I'm in a empty room, so I kind of like it's echoing.
Yeah, I can hear you good. So how did you, let me ask you this. Was your family, I know we're going to be discussing how you maintain your weapons.
Okay.
But were you raised in a two-way family, or was it something that you came about on your own?
My grandmother, she always had weapons. She always had guns. My grandmother, uncle, and them all grew up around a couple people that did a lot of hunting. I didn't have many guns at first. It was just going out hunting with them, and them sharing a gun with me to hunt with. It kind of got me to wanting to get my own.
Mm. And you said your granny always had guns.
Yeah, that woman was strapped up.
Really?
Oh yeah,
So
she
how did
got
that come
OG.
about for granny to be strapped up? I love it. I love that. But you
So
don't hear a lot. I don't hear a lot about women. So my grandmother on my father's side, she stayed
mhm.
strapped up, but she was like hood. But but my
That's what it
grandmother
is.
on my mother's side was like the housewife, and my grandfather had the gun. So why she stay strapped up?
Well, my mother Chicago, and my father family originated from Joliet. So, which is crazy because my grandmother on my mom's side is hood, the one that got the gun stuff from, and everybody religious on my daddy's side. So my grandma always thought that she needed a gun, being where she was at, and
Mhm.
my grandfather was actually a police officer in Chicago. So she been
Really?
around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she been around majority of her life. Even her mother had guns. From the story she tell me, the funny thing about it is she was telling me because I asked her. I said, Grandma, where did you get your love from guns?" She said, "Well, I think I got it from my mama." I'm like, "Okay." She like, I can recall my mama telling me that she shot my daddy. I said, "For what?" "For coming in the house late." I said, "Oh
Uh,
crap."
See, look, back in those
Yeah.
days, you could fire it off and not get in trouble.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It was different then. It was much different then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, would you say that your knowledge of weapons came more so before your military career, or is it a conglomerate of home and military?
Well, my knowledge of gun safety came more from the military, but just having guns and being around them, that I would say they came from my family and the neighborhood gangs and whatnot. Just luckily, we never had an incident where somebody actually got killed from us horse playing around with guns. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so when you grew up and who you were around, there was no gun safety. It was
Oh
just
no,
y'all just did
hey,
what you did.
everybody had a gun. I'm telling you, everybody got a gun cause, everybody thought that meant power. If you had a gun, I mean, you 16, 17-year old with a gun, oh, you got power. First thing we do is we pulling it out on people. So, yeah.
So was it a shock culture for you to get into the military and learn the weapon safety and learn more technical, or was that kind of a shock to you, or not? No, not so much.
Yes, in a way, because like I said, everything in the neighborhood fast, and everything in the military is more about control, more about being reliable in the military.
Mhm.
So when we was going over gun, I was just I was just anxious just to get out there and shoot, not understanding the full fundamentals of what they was trying to teach me. It was just, man, give me the gun, let me go, let me go, let me go. See, in the neighborhood, we just pick up and go. But
Right.
there, everybody know you got a manual for everything. So we just pretty much had to take all these classes and go through all these manuals, and it ended up hurting me in the long run because when it came time to test out everything that I thought I knew from the streets, it didn't apply into the military. So,
Mm.
right. What's good, everyday shoot? I see you. What's good, Javis? Simple carry.
So it's a big
Um,
difference.
yes, it's a very big difference.
So, as it pertains to your knowledge of building, how did you come up? I know you jack of all trades, so I want people to know who you are because you have that name for a reason. I
Right,
know you're going to let us know how you maintain your weapons, but you have that name for a reason. And for me, it's important for our people to know who they can go to for what. So,
right.
what you know how to do and what they can access you for. So, what is jack of all trades? Before we get into how you got into building, what does that mean? What are those trades that you the jack of all?
So, coming up, I was the type of kid that easily got bored with things, and I also that kid that didn't have much money whatsoever. And I had friends that had all this like cars, bikes, and stuff like that. And most people ain't gonna let you ride this stuff. Most people's not gonna let you shoot this stuff. And I had wanted something, and my mother told me, I think it was a bike or something like that. And she was like, you know, build it. How you think the people that
Mm,
made them did it? You build it. Try to find a way for yourself so you don't have to constantly ask people for stuff. So everything I do now, I try to master it where it fit me,
mm-hmm.
and then I probably move on to something else. But jack of all trades, it started out just before military. I was a fine arts major, so I learned how to paint, draw, and when I
Really?
went to right, I had an art scholarship. So went to art school, and there I met a couple people. One guy, we the only black guys in her art class. So
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to do graphic design work. So it went from graphic design, it went from that to a lot of people don't know this, but I actually have a diploma in recording engineering music production. I just
Really?
don't, right? I just don't want to be that guy that always say that, well, I did this, I did that. Because people then look at you like, oh man, you telling a lie. There's no way. But it's proven fact. I did a lot. I did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So then it went from there, like I said, music, cars, and then it went to gun once I joined the military. And when I left the military, like I wanted to do the gun stuff. But
I think that I'm sorry, I want to say this. A lot of times we will minimize ourselves because of what other people think and not
mm-hmm,
knowing that, and that's why I like to bring this out and you sharing who you are because a lot of times people don't know how brilliant we are as a people. All of the
right,
skill, just because some people may have not done the full gamut. And
right,
curiosity is phenomenal too, because that's what makes you intelligent. It's something that
right.
I always tell my children and my family. A person that's intelligent is somebody that knows how to figure it out. So get the
Oh yeah.
information and figure it out. And so I think that's phenomenal. But that's interesting because okay, you this big military man, and what's your actual giving honor to you? What's your actual title?
For the military, I am with a sergeant first class. Um, I actually I'm actually in a drill sergeant unit right now. I'm senior drill sergeant until the board say, hey, I went to school for master leadership. So this February they're supposed to be picking a report, uh, who they're gonna promote. And if I get when I get promoted, I'm not gonna say if, but when I get
Mm-hmm.
promoted, then that will put me in a either a master sergeant slot or a first sergeant slot. So my title then would be first sergeant or either master sergeant of a battalion or somewhere, wherever they choose to send me.
Well, congratulations on your promotion that is to come. And but yeah, to look at
Thanks.
you and to know you have this, you have so many dynamics to you. So graphic arts, music, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not, it's not just military, but all of this comprise jack of all trades. Anything else we missing here?
Um, for everybody that's tuning in, that's from my neck of the woods, I actually used to do screen printing, roofing, anything that kind of made some money.
Hmm.
I went for it. Dogs, yeah, appreciate it, that student.
Oh, and dogs is okay.
Yeah, I haven't
Do
made
you
no
have a
money off dogs
specific
yet.
breed? Do you have a
Uh,
specific breed?
right now, I'm into bullies.
Okay.
Yeah, bullies. Maybe later on when I can get the money up, I get a Frenchie or maybe get into like some King Corso. But right now, I'm just stuck with
Ooh,
bullies.
Corso.
Yeah, yeah, them some big dogs.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
dogs.
Oh yeah.
I love dogs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a ton of them.
Okay. Okay.
I do. So, okay, how did you get into building?
So building came about. Oh, I want to say after my second deployment. When they started talking about banning the ARs and all that good stuff, with bad stuff. Uh, I can remember going on Facebook and this guy had like this upper receiver for sale for like 300 maybe. I can't really recall the price. So I reached out for sale and he was a home base. So I ended up purchasing one of his lords and I'm like, man, I'm looking at him building. I'm like, oh man, I could probably build me one. So I went, started ordering stuff, thinking that I knew what I was doing, but I ended up having to call him, and he pretty much walked me through the building stage, and I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And ever since then, I never bought AR. I just went to building. I was always
Hmm.
curious about how it works, um, and then the military actually let me become a unit armor, and I was just looking at it like, okay, just tearing my gun up and refixing it, well, trying to fix it,
Hmm.
but later on when they did their little um, inspection, they found out that I was pretty decent with it, so it just went from there.
Oh, cool. So now, today, at this point in time, you build for, when did you start building for other people other than yourself?
Um, Back in 2013, when I
Okay,
just
so you've
really
been doing
started.
it.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Back then, I was just building for like 10 people, and then hey, you buy
Hmm.
your parts, I put it together, and then this guy gave me a chance in 2018, somewhere in that range, to come work for him and build for him. And that's where I learned a little bit more than what I know now. Gained a little bit of
So, what
knowledge.
services do you offer? So, for a person, a new person that is a new, they want you to build for them, or you do graphic design, graphic art. What type of services do you offer?
Well, I just recently got into the whole Cerakote thing. Um,
Hmm.
so now with me building, I kind of offer a little Cerakote stuff and maybe a little graphic work on the side. Oh, yeah, he said 2017. Yeah, I done built a lot of guns for a lot of people. I'm sorry. What's up, Talk of the City, Kennel? I see you. It will see you. But yeah, now I'm pretty much just hey, what you want me to do? If you say
Hmm.
you got a design, you want me to go with it, you want me to give it a try, I'll give it a try. I'm all about trying.
Hmm.
You never know what you would do unless you try. It's Moody World. I want one.
She said she want one.
Hey.
So what's your
Yeah.
favorite build? What's your favorite something that project that you worked on? What's your favorite?
The project I would have to say would be my favorite would be, hmm, it was like the first two guns that I built, AR rifle and AR pistol. But recently, I would say something that's dear to heart would probably be the jack of all trade gun when I
Hmm.
started the company. Uh, that's the one actually you seen on Black Rambo channel. I think we up to 3.1 million views on it. I would say I take more pride in that gun than anything.
Yeah, that's you. That's yours, right?
That's my own
That's yours.
serial number, everything. And it's crazy. Like I was telling Black Rambo, I'm like, dude, I can remember being in Afghanistan, people sending me your video, and they're like, I want to meet that guy one day. And I actually,
Really?
yeah, and it's crazy because I actually submitted one of my videos to him, but it never got picked on the channel. I don't know why. But just years later, to actually be on be on a video with him, that was pretty dope. So yeah,
Something that I noticed, and I just am very candid with all of your skill and all of your experience, and I noticed this with a lot of people that have been in the service. You are so humble. Like you have, yeah, with all of your skill set and your, the place where you are, you still have humility, and that's phenomenal.
I think that came from more of my
That
mom.
is okay. But what I want to ask you is, what is the purpose of gun maintenance? So here, there are a lot of different levels of people that will watch this video, and I know that in the gun community, everybody has, everybody doesn't say the same thing.
That's true.
Some
That's
people
true.
think maintenance is this way, that. So I want you, the jack of all trades way. What is the purpose of maintaining your weapon? I want it, like, if you had to give that lesson, that knowledge of how to maintain a weapon, the jack of
Mhm.
all trades way would show, with you in it. And I know you do a phenomenal job because I've seen your before and your after.
Well, it's very important. It's a life or death situation, and the last thing you need is your weapon not working when you need it. Um, I was just watching a video where a guy pulled up trying to shoot somebody. And he could never get his gun caught. I mean, he could
Mm,
never get it. And then I was like, well, dang, if there was vice versa, where a guy was coming up trying to harm him and he was actually trying to shoot the intruder, how, I mean, he would probably end up losing his life.
right.
So it's very important to maintain weapon, even when it comes to customizing weapon. Thing that people got to take in consideration when you go to customizing your gun, you tend to get paint and stuff like that inside the gun. So you definitely need to do a thorough cleaning. If there's anything that's stopping it from firing, you need to make sure there's nothing inside the barrel. You need to make sure all your magazine work, because if it's something inside that barrel and you shoot a round out, there's a potential chance that it can explode in your face. And with magazine, I tell a lot of people, you actually got to shoot your firearm because you need to know the ins and outs of your firearm. And if you that person that just throws it in a bag, then there's a good chance. I'm not picking on the women or nothing like that, but majority of women throw their gun in the bag. So what usually y'all carry? Makeup, lipstick, all that good stuff, right? This one lady, she brought her firearm to me to clean. No, well, at first it wasn't to clean. She just said it would not pop. So I'm like, that's weird. And when I got it, sure enough, I couldn't rack the slide, do none of
Mm,
that. I mean, when I say none of that, none of that. And she's like, and I carry it every day in my makeup bag, and then I had
mm.
it with me when I go mow the lawn because it got snakes. And come to find out, it was caked up with all kind of makeup, lipstick, all that good stuff. So yeah, and when you when you do stuff like that, you definitely need to make sure you clean it. It's okay to carry it in your bag, but take it out every once in a while, clean it. Make sure you got enough oil on to keep it from rusting. Even when the gun
Mhm.
inside the safe, if it's not a humidifier in your safe, there's a good chance that some of your gun might end up rusting. So you definitely want to try to maintain it. Cause you want when you need it, you want it to be there. You know, you want to be able to call when you need it. So.
That's good information to know as far as the humidifier, because
Mm-hmm.
that's something I didn't know, and I have dealt with I have dealt with some of my weapons getting rusty, some that I've
Mm-hmm.
had for quite some time that I don't do a lot with. So knowing about the moisture level and yeah.
Oh yeah. And another thing you gotta it's a lot of ways that you can, you know, keep moisture out of your safe. Sure. You don't have to go spend a ton of money to get moisture out of your safe. You can use them packs like got the rice in it and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
where it separates with the water, it drains the water out. They work good. They work phenomenal. And I learned a lot of that from being overseas because overseas in Connex, that's where we used to have our weapons, and we used to
Mm-hmm.
have to deal with that stuff. You know, sometimes it don't be that bad off during the day, but at night, you know,
Right.
it gets a little cold and stuff like that. Moisture get inside, and if you don't have it sealed out completely, then there's a good chance your weapon gonna rust.
And how do you treat? And now I know this is because you've worked treating and cleaning people's weapons with that's rusted. How do you go about treating something like that?
So I used to use CLP a lot, but then Rambo came out with this carbon cleaner kit. Now I've been messing with it for a while, and I kind of like it. But the way I do it, I just stay looking at guns. I mean, every day I go to my safe, I pull one of them up just to see if it rusted or not, even with the humidifier in there. I just, if I know it's going to be in the safe for a while, I load it down with CLP. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just me, just loading it down with CLP. But before I shoot it, I make sure I wipe it off real
Right.
good.
Right.
You know, just keep, just a little bit.
So, and your like your EDC or your weapons? How do you what's your cleaning regimen for them?
Well, by me having so many guns, um, I would say the way I do it is I take everything to the range and I have a friend or something like that. Hey, y'all shoot it up. And then guess what? I got another buddy that actually helped me clean the gun.
Mm-hmm.
But for my EDC, every chance I get, I probably mess with it, take it apart, wipe it down. I don't over lube it. I just if it needs some lube, I just put just enough that it needs, and I go from there.
Mm-hmm. So you know, it's just pretty much kind of like how I do it. You know when it needs to be cleaned, and that's when you do
Right.
it. You
And
don't have
I
a
mean,
certain set schedule.
no, I don't. If I'm sitting around not doing that and bored, and I got my firearm on, I just go ahead, take it apart, wipe the dust bunnies out of it. I take all my rounds out my magazine. You know, make sure it work good because that's the biggest failure to most people magazine. They leave their rounds in the magazine, and when they come to shoot, sometimes the spring be a little wore. So when they shoot, it don't rack as good as it used to when you first bought it. Sometimes that's the reason why I like let people just shoot, just to keep the springs a little stronger.
Hmm.
But other than that, yeah, that's the
So
way I
you
do
said
things.
sometimes the biggest failure is people just leave it in there and they're not shooting it.
Right, you have to shoot your gun. You have to. Um, be like old granddaddies and grandma that leave their rounds in there and they've been there for years, like
Wow.
5, 10 years, and you expect it to shoot. It don't really work that way.
Hmm.
I didn't have to work. I didn't bought new magazine, and I probably left around in it for over a year. Some still work, but some, the screen got a little weak from all the compression to it. So, but,
Yeah, I never thought about that because I actually use mine, so I never thought about people just sitting,
oh
leaving
yeah,
it with the ammo in there.
oh yeah.
So, is there any other information that you would give as far as because we have different levels
Hmm.
of people that's watching and not knowing. It's so many people have influx in becoming a part of the 2A community. What
Right.
other information would you like to share as far as weapon maintenance and even about what you bring differently? Because I know two-way is different. Each person
Very
brings something different to the
different.
table. I love your humility and I love your candor. I love the fact that you have all of this skill and this knowledge, but you're very humble with it. And you're also able to share the truth as far as when you started out, you didn't start out with a lot. And so,
No, I
I know a
didn't.
lot of times people are people want to jump in and be a part of 2A, but they may not have it to buy,
Right,
buy certain things and so I like the fact that you're candid about your start, how you
right.
started, and to let people know that they can come in at whatever level they are in and just get the training and be safe. But what do you want to share with people?
Um, that's pretty much the biggest thing about the two-way. You have people from all walks of life, and you can learn something from people.